The Listening Tube presents Not the Headlines Extra.
I'm Bob Woodley from The Listening Tube. Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. A Minnesota woman was killed by gunfire during an immigration and customs enforcement operation in Minneapolis. Thousands of ICE agents are in the city performing what's being called one of the largest ICE operations ever. The premise for it is twofold. First, the Biden administration let millions of people into the country without going through the proper protocols. And now they all have to be found and removed. Now, it's been revealed that there's been a massive fraud conspiracy going on among what's turned out to be primarily the Somali population in the capital cities area. That's prompted all sorts of investigations as well as more immediate action from Homeland Security. These law enforcement measures are both justified and needed for the safety and efficiency of our society and government. Unfortunately, the Democratic Party feels differently about that. They instead accuse the federal government of being Nazis and tell anyone who will listen that ICE agents are the enemy and are only creating chaos and breaking apart families and target brown people simply because of the color of their skin. That rhetoric has now led to the death of someone who, it appears, was suckered in by the false narrative of the left. This woman was lured to her death by the belief that she would be doing something honorable by using her SUV to block a street where an ICE operation was in progress. Where do you think she got that idea? Did Donald Trump trick her into putting herself in the middle of a government operation? No. Was she an innocent bystander who was caught up in something she didn't understand? No. She was lured there by the very people who are now calling for justice. The governor of Minnesota and the mayor of Minneapolis. These two men have made it their purpose to convince otherwise reasonable citizens to put themselves in harm's way on behalf of a misguided belief that anybody who came into this country under the Biden administration should be allowed to stay here. They don't differentiate between legal immigrants and illegal immigrants. They ignore the laws with which they don't agree. And they bait regular citizens into putting their lives at risk in order to advance an illegitimate interpretation of federal law. If the governor of Minnesota and the mayor of Minneapolis want justice for the woman who was killed by an ICE agent on Wednesday, they should both resign immediately. That, at least, would demonstrate some bearing of responsibility for the death of a woman who, without the prodding of Democrat leadership, may have been sitting on her couch instead of blocking a street with her SUV at that moment. As for others inclined to similarly participate or revere the woman who died in some copycat fashion, I have some advice. Stay home. Don't let the divisive words of Democrat and liberal leaders lead you astray. They're using you to do the sacrificing while they continue the rhetoric. None of the people at that raid site needed to be there. The only reason they were there is because of false narratives perpetuated by the left and the leftist media and the money that supports it. The people that were in that area should not have been there. Law enforcement will do their jobs quickly and efficiently when you stay out of the way. This isn't a game. Democrats have made it a game to them with you as the pawns. The Democratic leadership in Minnesota is probably rejoicing privately that a woman was killed so they can claim the feds are creating chaos. but the Democrats are who's to blame. If it wasn't for all the yelling and screaming they do about cleaning up the mess they made under the Biden administration, a woman in Minneapolis would still be alive today. The Democrats in Minnesota are baiting the people there to put their lives on the line in order to prevent the federal government from enforcing the law. Then they blame the ICE agents for the chaos. There won't be any chaos if you just stay away. If you just stay away from ICE operations, you'll have a much better chance of seeing how much greater the United States of America can be. I'm Bob Woodley from The Listening Tube.
Get a lot more content from the Listening Tube with Bob Woodley podcast.